For this adventure, we headed on down to Oceanside on a day that surf line was claiming 3 to 5 feet. The pelicans were ripping and they were soon to be joined by Barry on the 8-foot catch surf log. Unfortunately, this wave would snap the leash plug off the back of Barry's board, and being a good friend, I took some time to inspect the damage to see if we could repair it out in the water. But the force of the wave had completely snapped the screw, and I had to leave Barry mid-inspection to go take off on this absolute nugget of a wave coming through the lineup. Being a good friend, I traded boards with Barry so he didn't have to surf without a leash, and I intended to catch a wave to head him into shore to try to resolve this leashless situation. Which turned out to be a great deal for Barry, as he loves surfing this 7-foot Ben Gravy Easy Rider. I got lucky taking off on this bombing left. Making my way leashless back to the shore. Once I got into shore, I MacGyvered myself up a leash loop made out of the lanyard from my keys. Then paddled my way back out to the outside just in time to watch Barry take off on this sick left, and the session was back on. Now we get on to the terrifying part of today's video. As you can see, Nudie and Barry are paddling pretty close to each other and not exactly paying attention to where each other are at in the lineup. Barry here missing the first couple waves of the set that's continuously growing with each wave that passes by. You can see Nudie about 25 feet away underneath the pelicans, almost completely in line with Barry in the background. Stuck in the impact zone, Barry continues to paddle towards his friend, who he has no idea is at the crest of an overhead wave ditching his board, coming in at the right side of your screen like a homing missile. This video clip is a perfect example of just how much ground you can cover being pushed by one wave out in the water. You can see Nudie in the background still about 25 feet away as this wave comes up from behind him and pushes him almost entirely to Barry, which puts him right back in leash range of hitting Barry a second time. Fortunately, he held onto his board through that wave, but Barry had still suffered quite a bit of head trauma from this hit. Realizing the amount of blood running from your head can cause a bit of panic. A bit dizzy and trying to figure out what to do, Barry trying to make his way to shore, but also notify Nudie of the injury. This part of the video kind of worries me a bit as Barry rests his head for a moment here. Losing consciousness in the ocean can cause all kinds of problems. They made their way to shore trying to have a series of conversations, but while they were paddling, they continued to be straight in line with each other. A pretty good ocean rule to follow is that if there's something in front of you, a wave will probably push you directly into it. A concept Nudie hasn't grasped a hold of, but Barry has learned all too well within the past couple minutes. Finally, Barry lucked out on some whitewash and was able to convey himself back up onto the shore, where we could further inspect his head injuries. The 7'2" Bronner was gashed up pretty good with some hair and skin from Barry's hole in his head. Having survived the near-death experience, we were all laughing it up pretty good, but it's important to remember where you're at in the lineup and have safety first and socially distance yourself from those out there. Afterwards, we headed on down to In-N-Out. Every surf trip is an adventure.